How did the thief get into heaven if he wasn't baptized? Because in John it says, unless you are born of water and spirit, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. But the thief says, remember me in your kingdom.
First, let's define what baptism is. St. Paul says, do you not know that as many of us were baptized into Christ Jesus were baptized into his death? And later on, he just defines it as, we have been united together in the likeness of his death. St. Paul talks about himself saying, I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. Who else was truly crucified with Christ, if not for the thief on the cross? If the thief on the cross wasn't crucified with Christ, then none of us are when we are baptized. Further on, we know that the thief can't just be a blank exception, because Jesus says, most assuredly I say to you, he who does not enter the sheepfold by the door, but climbs up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. The thief didn't enter the kingdom of heaven some other way. He is called a thief for this reason, to call us to this chapter. What is baptism if not dying in your sin and being raised up a new man? He died as a thief, he rose as someone who is not a thief, because no thief can inherit the kingdom of heaven. We know this because the thief on the cross says, for we receive the due reward of our deeds, but this man has done nothing wrong. So he is acknowledging that he is being crucified for his sins. John does say, unless you are born of water and the Spirit, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. But he also says in his epistle, and there are three that bear witness on earth, the Spirit, the water, and the blood. And these three agree as one. And we know that the Apostle John had this in mind during the thief on the cross, because he says that the side of Christ was pierced and it released water and blood to show that this was not an exception to the rule, but this was the archetype and the fulfillment of it. Right behind us we have an example of the 21 martyrs. 20 of these men were baptized by water baptism. One of them was not baptized into the church. The men who killed these people said they declare war on the people of the cross, and this man gave up his blood for the church of Christ, and thus he was counted as baptized and dying in the likeness of Christ and being crucified with Christ. Therefore, the thief on the cross was indeed baptized because he was crucified with Christ, and Christ himself said, are you ready to be baptized with the baptism I am baptized with, when he was speaking about his death?